Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mystery Red Reads. I am your host, Mystery Red. This is my disclaimer. This beta read in Concrete is at the author's request. This video is for learning purposes. Today we're doing a read for a piece of original fiction. We are looking at Chapter 8. I think this is our first time looking at Chapter 8 for Infinite Shades by Crystal Committee. And we are going to dive right in. I will put a link to all of my other reads for Crystal Committee in the description. Okay, notes for MMR. See the comments if you want to know. Promise no spoilers until appropriate-ish. Chapter 8. Let's see. Notes for MMR. First, I'm totally cool with everyone knowing my thought. Oops. Oh my goodness. I'm cool with everyone knowing my thought processes through the braiding of many things of this chapter. It's helpful and it would take novels worth to relay it directly. So this chapter is a gathering of many things you've said. Beta readers, my writer friends, etc. have commented on. The major one was number 1, internalizations from the point of view of the character. There is effort in that point of view, but I think I'm handling it. Number 2, I leaned on talking heads and dialogue way too much. So I've added action tags and environmental things for, in this case, Garrett. This is going to be a hard habit to break. Number 3, something that isn't seen, but I can share old yucky stuff, adverbs and prose. When I'm rewriting, actually it's adding to a chapter, I free flow it. I don't think about echoes or grammar rules. I do not change my actual dialogue until maybe the very end, as it's what I weave everything else around to make to me the weaker strands. That's kind of the process that I do too, because I find if I try to well, I'm a plotter. I did not used to be a plotter. I am now a plotter, and I don't mean a hard, definite plotter. I mean like I have an idea of where I'm going, and I write towards that goal of what I want to accomplish in each scene or each chapter. And then I kind of have to just let it, like, write it as it comes to me, and then go back later and revise, and the revision will go over and over and over again, with each thing being something I'm looking specific for. So I kind of do the same process. Then what I found was, as I was learning rules or guidelines, whatever, things to look out for, they started to interfere with my writing. And then I started to get stunted. Because the way I muse when I read for you guys, I was writing and I knew where I was writing to, and then my brain would start to be like, okay, but this can't go with this, and this you don't want to say, and all these rules kept popping up, and so it really inhibited my muse, which was frustrating. All right, so we're going to go back up here, and I'm going to try to stop when we see the highlight to read the notes, even if it's reading well. I'm also going to try to make myself, I'm having this discussion as much for you guys as I am for myself, to prepare me so that I have made a decision. I'm going to stop when I see the thing and read the notes, even if it's reading well. And then if I'm having reader musings, I'm going to try to make myself stop, even if it's reading well, to get them out of my head before I lose them, because sometimes they're nothing and sometimes they're worth something, and I don't want to miss out on opportunity. So with that, I am going to take a quick drink of water, and we are going to go at this. Chapter 8. Sam enters her small dormitory room, taking inventory of the sparse belongings to ensure everything is as she left it. She removes her suit jacket, hanging it on the closet beside the others. Kicking off her shoes, she relishes the coldness of the uncarpeted floor. Ah, the one thing that never lets me down. Yet another long day, Otis, she says, reaching for the dangling chain of the grow light tucked under the cabinet. The light flickers on, illuminating her workspace where a laptop and a single fern-like plant sit. I'll try to remember to leave the light on if I'm going to be past dark. She caresses the velvety leaves, brushing away some minuscule spores. Just look at you, little guy. You better not die on me. Amanda will never trust me with another if you do. Placing her thumb on the touchpad, she powers up the laptop. A small indicator ticks across the bottom. Come on, just boot up already. I don't have all night. So I'm already having a reader musing because the plants keep are a continuing thing that we've picked up on in other chapters, and I'm trying to recall if they had. I feel like there's something about them. So I'm I don't know if they're just adornment to the room, but they're so prevalent that I'm starting to feel like there's something about them. So that's an initial reader musing as I'm taking note of the frequency of the plants. It could turn out to be nothing, but I am noting them and holding them kind of like in a just in case kind of zone. All right, that I did notice them. All right. Authorization Samantha Clemens verified. She touches an icon and a blank video conference screen opens. Dropping into the chair, she types a long string of numbers and selects connect. She waits, but the system returns with a prompt, unable to establish. Of course, why would anything go right? Try again, Sam mutters as she loosens her cuffs, rolling up her sleeves. Why can't anything go smoothly? The computer replies, unable to connect, receiving party unavailable. I'm going to pause a second. So I'm going to note that I noticed the adverb. However, in my opinion, this is kind of in dialogue. So I've always kind of made an exception for them in dialogue because we use them when we speak. And this is her internal dialogue. And so I'm kind of just noting that it was there, but I'm also finding it acceptable. And my rabbit is throwing a fit in the hallway. Hang on just a second. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen next because now she's hopping around my office. So you'll hear the scampering in the background. Okay. Let's see. We did try again. Why can't anything go smoothly? The computer replies, unable to connect, receiving party unavailable. Okay, run a diagnostic, she orders, grabbing her phone and dialing a number. 5 rings pass, then silence. She tries another, only to be met with dead air. The third call is equally unsuccessful, as the system shows everything's fine. Fantastic. Everything's just peachy. Well, something is going on. Check the hard and soft wired lines. Include any Wi-Fi or radio signals. I swear, if this is another one of Amanda's experiments gone wrong. A long list of random characters appears on the screen. A cursor blinks and verifies with a green check mark moving through the lines. 5 to 6 are identified each second. Sam takes in the information, making special note of those that aren't clearing. What now, Amanda? What have you gotten into this time? She's gone off the grid. Run the others. No sooner are the words out of her mouth than the system returns secondary, tertiary offline, unable to establish, physical disconnect. Oh, great. Just what I need. No, not stressful enough already. She opens the dialer on the laptop. A few seconds pass before Garrett appears, settling into a chair before his computer screen. He looks slightly disheveled. His usual polish softened by the casual flannel shirt and jeans he wears instead of his typical suit. His silver hair is tousled, and a furrow forms on his brow as he runs a hand through it. I'm going to pause for a second. I noticed the adverb. That was great. Very, very professional over here. We're actually very casual, and I'm very real, and I plan to keep it real. So here we go. I noted the adverb. It did not bother me. I kind of am having the attitude about them that if there's like one in a chapter, 1 or 2 in a chapter, or if they're very specific, it's kind of okay. But I am going to note when I notice them so you can make a decision. Let's see. By the way, I want to note that this is reading really well. I'm loving the description. I'm loving the internal thoughts. We're rocking right along. I got visual. This is good. This is going well. All right, let's see. He smiles, a flicker of warmth breaking through his concern. Evening. Garrett, she nods. Quick question. I already know what you're going to ask. I haven't been able to get through either. And this doesn't bother you? Sam probes, her anxiety simmering. And I'm being invaded by people. Hold. Garrett leans forward, his jaw tightening, a flicker of unease crossing his face. At first, of course it did. You know how cautious Amanda is. He pauses. She's fine. I verified through multiple channels, including my own. His tone becomes deliberate, though concern still shadows his expression as he continues. Considering the hardware she's pulled out and the spike in energy consumption, firing up that old diesel generator no less, she's clearly tightening the perimeter. Something's got her cautious. She's been working with some sensitive materials. If one of them caused a complication, she's playing it safe. Though, for now, Garrett reasons. Sure, Garrett, nothing says safe like Amanda in total isolation with gods know what kind of equipment. We don't make assumptions. Let's see. This is for MMR. This is not a typo or mistake. Sam and Amanda specifically don't use God in the singular as most religious references would be. They do a plural form of gods, which isn't capitalized, alluding to that they don't prescribe to any particular religion, but have adapted this into their speech. So it's God's help me versus God help me. I kind of do the same thing. I think in some of my fan fictions, sometimes I'll use goddess. So it's God's goddess, same kind of very vague reference. Okay, let's see. We are going to keep going. I was kind of wondering something lightly. What was it? It was kind of a reader thought, I think. Okay, so Garrett's being chill and Sam isn't, and Amanda has gone off the grid, and Garrett knows where she's at and Sam doesn't, and she didn't tell Sam, and I'm kind of like wondering about that because it seems like she trusts Sam more than she trusts Garrett, so I'm kind of worrying about that or contemplating. Okay, here we go. She's fine. You'd be the first to know. Well, I wasn't the first to know, Sam fumes, frustration boiling over. I knew I shouldn't have left, and in what you dropped me this morning, it's all connecting like a blind, deaf, dumb man could see it. Don't jump to conclusions, Garrett tries. You know I don't jump to anything, especially not conclusions. Try again. Okay, I'm going to note this. We have sure Garrett. Like, she's in her internal thoughts. She's using the name a lot. It's just a tad too close, I think. So I would probably just omit. I would just say try again. Because, I mean, it's just the two of them in the room, so you don't need it. And I know she's not talking here. It's her internal thought. But I still kind of think we should be sparing with the name. So I guess this. I'm loving it. I'm loving the internal dialogue. I'm loving the interaction, the whole thing. I don't know if this might be a thing for you. You know how like sometimes when we're reading and we are developing a new skill, we suddenly find new things to look out for, and it's kind of suffocating, to be honest. But anyway, as you're working on internal dialogue and you're adding it, I'm seeing a pattern in repetition of the person's name. Like, I know that we've already talked about it in dialogue and we've gotten better. I'm wondering if now we need to keep an eye out for it in internal thought. I'm going to verbally note it for you. I could peck out a note really quick. Let's see. Okay. Maybe check internal dialogue for excess use of character name. I hope that makes sense. All right. I'm just going to note it. And I'm going to say, can I edit? I don't think I can edit. I can. Check. All internal dialogue. So not just this one line. I'm referencing, see, like it's here too. And so I'm kind of tempted to scroll back up and start looking, but I'm going to leave that to you to do. And we're going to keep going. All right. When did this start with Amanda? Garrett sighs. The weight of the situation reflects in the lines on his face. I think it's best if you leave it be. She's locked you and everyone out for a reason. We prepared for this, but what good are protocols if no one sticks to them? Sam takes a breath, forcing herself to speak with reason. Understandable. But that's why we set up protocols in the event of insert 1,000 different scenarios, none of which have been followed. Maybe this is scenario 1001, and she's thinking outside the box. That's what they want. Amanda playing right into their hands. She shouldn't be out there alone, especially now. This is exactly what they've been waiting for. She slams her palms onto the desk. Son of a, how did we let it get this far? Garrett sets his glass aside, clasping his hands on the desk. I'm going to bop that you've got the little word go on there, and I'm going to use this pretty little blue right here. Okay, and I lost it. Where did it go? Right there it is. I was finding my blue. Okay, and see, I don't like that because you can't see the font beneath it for the word I'm highlighting, but at the same time, the other colors are really muted, and I don't know. I don't like my highlight color options in this, and I don't like that I have to choose them every single time, unless I'm doing that wrong, and if somebody knows if I'm doing it wrong, let me know. Okay, Garrett sets his glass aside, clasping his hands on the desk. I need you to focus. The timing isn't lost on me. I could hear it in your voice. You know what this is. Yeah, she admits, eyes fixed on the desk. I dropped the ball and I know it. I should have caught it. This never should have gotten past me. She clenches her fists. Garrett always sees right through me. Can't hide a thing. We can't change that, he says, lowering his head. But we need to be careful now. In case they notice that we've noticed, bait or mistake. No damn cat videos now, brain. She closes her eyes, a smile forming before it twists into a grimace. Bad choice. Too much ick tied to those tangents. Admit it, the truth will set you free, right? Or some metaphor he'll read into. Stop holding your breath, it's obvious. She leans back, crossing her arms. After a long exhale, she opens her eyes. I'm having trouble seeing the forest through the trees. I'm going to pause. There's a note here. You want to know what tangents. I could take you there, but it'd be 4 pages of random weird. I told you before, Sam's mind is like a 1,000-lane freeway, and we're a turtle off the side. I'm easing into where it's not information overload. We'll get why her mind went to cat videos. It's a coworker influence, and how the tangents turned to ick. Previous experience with the committee about when they met Scott. This is her testing the waters after experience with the committee that went oh so ick in the before chapter. It contrasts differently because she can see Garrett. He's tangible. Okay, so yes, I kind of was thinking, what is going on in her little mind, but I've also kind of accepted that Sam's mind jumps all over the place, following the kind of pattern. By the way, I totally agree with your comment. I probably love Sam because my brain hops all over the place too, and I get stuck in like a high gear if I get overstimulated. So, okay. Other thought. There's some things I really like in here. And I want to see if I can point them out to you. So in case they noticed that we've noticed, bait or mistake. No damn cat videos now, brain. She closes her eyes, a smile forming before it twists into a grimace. Okay, so I love this action following this internal thought. I'm loving that. And then she's trying to talk to herself some more here. Bad choice, too much ick tied to those tangents. Admit it, the truth will set you free, right? Or some metaphor he'll read into. Stop holding your breath, it's obvious. I kind of love this internal thought followed by this action. I really like the layout of the land right here. I love it. After a long exhale, she opens her eyes. So she's trying to gather herself, reel herself back in. I like it. Very nicely done. We're going to keep going. There's a brief pause. Garrett's hand stills over his glass, as if something in her tone caught him. At least you're aware it's cutting close, he says, like he's reading between the lines. Yeah, he's picking up on my defensive stance. She unfolds her arms. Hold on to the thread. Keep it light. Which protocol did you use to verify? Mauve. Sam smirks. Wow, color me surprised. That was practically a red flag. Shifting, Garrett leans in, a smile playing at the edges. I don't want to say of his lips, but at the same time, I want you to say of his lips. Twang at the end. I'm just going to leave it. I'm leaving it. Never perfect enough for you. Fraught with issues only you and Amanda understood. He chuckles, a knowing wink following. One of the few you didn't scrub into oblivion, so I figured it had to be useful. Why is there like a cacophony of sirens right outside my window? I want some fresh air. I get a bunch of noise. Okay. Bless you for catching that. I can't help it. Refining everything is in my DNA. Yeah, well, I've got work to do. She opens a command prompt. Thank the gods for my perfect memory. Comes in handy. Garrett's lips twitch into a faint smirk. Times like these shouldn't exist. Plan for disaster so it never happens, right? Backup plans fill the holes when plan A falls apart. Her fingers race across the keys, a triumphant keystroke following. Focus. No cat memes. Don't. Why'd you have to think it? Defining reasons why single plans fail. Unaccommodated factors. That'll take a minute. While we wait, I have some questions. Can we? Garrett shifts, gaze sliding away. Nope, you're not dodging this. Please, he asks them with mock seriousness, raising an eyebrow that makes her smile. Begging won't help. First, Scott. Garrett's humor fades. Okay. I hadn't met the guy until I came here. Nothing but references and conversation. But you two were involved somehow. Spidey senses at about 75 to 80%, which is ridiculously high for someone I've never met. His file has information, but it's missing key pieces. Something feels right, but isn't. Garrett straightens, one eye narrowing. What are you really asking? Why dodge this? What's not there? What's missing and why? Garrett takes a slow drink, gaze drifting away as if the answer might reveal too much. She runs her hand through her hair. I'll cut through the BS for 1,000, Alex. I'll narrow it down. FBI, former military, stationed where you ran ops, both under CIA and Bureau jurisdiction. Some involving my parents. Off the books, or Steiner would have been all over Scott in his witch hunt years ago. If you're asking if he worked for me on classified ops, I have to professionally decline. Yeah, I know, but that's answer enough. Garrett raises an eyebrow. And what it doesn't? What is phrased as a question, but is really an answer. Did he know my mother? Sam prods. You can't say, but I'll read between the lines. Pausing. Okay, so I am noticing something and I'm not sure. Like this is, I'm really kind of excited because this is really reading well and you're doing a really good job of tucking internal thought here and there. You're giving me more visuals. I'm liking it. Good job. I am wondering if we have used between the lines a couple of times. So I'm going to highlight it yellow and I'm going to scroll back. That'll kind of mark my spot. I feel like we might have it in here. And I kind of feel like I just saw it and then wondered if it was a thing. And then I saw it again and I'm like, oh, I think it might be a thing. Let's see. I wonder if this is the only chapter in this document? Is it? Maybe. We're going to go up here and see if I can make my search myself to make it go faster. Find maybe? Between the lines. And does it work? None, not found. Well, we know it is found because it's in here. So between the lines, maybe it's not, and I'm just thinking it is, but I feel like between. Let's see if it finds that. Oh, good. It's showing me between in the notes. Is it screening the notes and not the document? Okay. That did not work for me. I'm probably doing it wrong. I don't usually work in Google Docs, and I'm fine with it. I am, but and it's kind of self-explanatory, like it's similar to Word, but yeah. So and actually I have worked in it. I typically paste things into it, if that makes sense. Like I'll write it somewhere else and then copy and paste it. Life has gotten. I'm looking while I'm talking. I'm rambling while I look. Life has gotten so hectic that honestly, a lot of the time I hide in the bathtub and I write in Apple Notes on my phone. And that is how I get to do most of my writing because I get interrupted so much. Let's see. But for some reason, telling people you're making a YouTube video in this house with the other 3 people I live with, they're like, oh, I don't want to bother you while you're doing that. And I'm like, really? Really? but when I'm regularly writing, you can't do that. I am not seeing it. Did I imagine it? I'm going to feel really bad if I imagined it. All right, so we got lines on the face. I'm wondering if maybe just the word lines itself might be. Will anybody interested in seeing if I can use the search engine, the search feature correctly? I wonder if I type in lines, if it'll pop up, because we just passed one and we know that there's more than one. So I don't think I'm using this feature correct. Maybe. No, I am definitely not, because it's not working. And I know that there's words, because like I'm choosing words that we know are there, so I'm not doing it right. So you guys can all note my struggle here. Oh, wait. I was in Safari, not in... Okay, I feel dumb. Let's see. We'll all have a laugh. I'm laughing too. I'm not trying to replace it. I just want to find it. How about next? All right, and next. Up. Is that it? Did I find it? Between the lines. And we highlight it in this lovely yellow. And let's just look in one more time and make sure. All right, so it's there and it's there. Looks like it's 2 times. Okay, so we're going to go back down to my other one and we're going to continue reading. I think it might have stuck out to me, and I might have thought on the first time you used it, I thought it might have been a second time then. And I think that sounds so funny because there's the word lines, a couple other lines by itself. And so my brain had picked up on the word lines. And then I realized the entire phrase was repeated. Okay, let's see if we can regroup here. What is phrased as a question, but is really an answer. Did he know my mother? Sam prods. You can't say, but I'll read between the lines. Okay. They crossed paths once. Beyond that, a boundary. I'll respect, even though I don't want to. Still, there are other ways to get there. You can't say more. That's all I need. She falls silent, avoiding Garrett's gaze. The weight of unspoken truth settles between them. Garrett takes another sip, eyes lingering on her as she types. Reality and imagination, they're blending again. I see the path, but it's still blurry. Her fingers fly over the keys, pulling the pieces into focus. Just a little more and I'll have something I can use. The silence stretches on. Garrett taps a finger against his glass. Sam. Yeah. Garrett tilts his head, the lines around his eyes tightening with concern. You okay? Okay, so it sounds like yeah is probably from Sam, so we want to put that on a different line. And then I would have thought, like I thought it was her, and then I was a little confused by this, but it turns out this follows Garrett's follow-up question. So I would just break it right there, and you're good to go. Am I okay? Loaded question. Am I ever okay? Depends on the moment, but overall, Dark spot, got some light, exploring. Don't press, don't inquire, let it be. You as an anchor is working. Avoiding tangents, getting to the goodies. Okay, he takes another sip, watching her. I'm wondering if that should be R. It's suggesting R, and I kind of was thinking R. So I'm going to note the little doodad right there. We're going to note it. R. Working. I'm going to question it because I'm not entirely sure. I'm indecisive. Okay, he takes another sip, watching her. Has he watched her a few times? I like the lingering on here. I'm gonna keep rolling with it. I know we have our inner body language and interactions, and I'm not keeping track of all of them. I'm just looking for like repetitive phrases. So we're gonna keep going. I can feel your eyes. Crap. What did I drop? Please just let it go. Sam takes a breath, reevaluating. Better, but damn, Garrett. Reevaluating. Better, but damn, Garrett. Okay, I read that wrong. All right. I can feel your eyes. Crap. What did I drop? Please just let it go. Sam takes a breath. Reevaluating. Better, but damn, Garrett. Not to interrupt, but let me in. Irritation flickers across her face. Crap, he's staring. Okay, this is not an internal thought. So I'm going to say we take off the style. Okay, I can feel your eyes. Crap, what did I drop? Please just let it go. I have children in this house that do not know volume levels. They just don't have them. At least, yeah, I love them both, but they just do not have volume settings. Okay, they might for like a second, because, you know, if I asked them to be quiet, they would, and then they just get excited and forget again. All right, crap, he's staring. Say something. Use your voice. It's like when you're watching a TV show. They interrupt it for some presidential announcement, then come back. But you miss that crucial part. You need to see it to get it all. The screen starts scrolling data, and Sam engrosses herself, absorbing every detail. Avoiding again. Can't help it. Devil's in the details. Does that make me evil or an angel? Stupid phrase. I wonder where it came from. Oh, stuff that makes no sense. I'm going to pause. I like this little thing she said here. Like when they interrupt you for a presidential announcement and you come back and you miss the most important part. You're like, I missed the best part. Yes, that's exactly what it's like. And it's almost like they time it on purpose. Okay. What you're doing, but on a grander scale, Garrett observes. Oh, distracted. Replay that. Got it. Focus on Garrett's words. Avoid tangents. She closes her eyes, then opens them again with renewed focus. Yep, next question, Briggs. His online moniker is Wraith, but you know more than you let on. I get it. His reputation has layers. I I thought I added it in there, but it's not there, but I think it's fine without it. I get his reputation has layers, but those are always shaped by interpretation. I agree, Garrett says, taking a sip. He had help. Points for the save. You know me well. Agreement without saying it. Confirmation. Nice. She smiles. Yeah, he was a legend, gaining mythical status, through talent he acquired. Some he dumped by choice, others not so much. She pauses the scrolling text and enters a series of characters. Don't lose the flow. Keep going. Explain. Garrett's grin grows, interest peaked. No shorthand, Sam. Do it by the book. He downplayed his abilities. She finds another section, amends, and sends it off. Didn't let his ego spiral. Stayed in the middle, except for, she makes another alteration, the usual one-upping and intellectual property theft. Par for the course in this industry. She selects and deletes a large section. Anyone worth their salt lets it go. His work spoke for itself. Never overcharged, never double-crossed, always watching for those trying to exploit his enjoyment of doing the job. He was an artist first and foremost. His payment came from the thrill of it. We'll go with that, she points to him. You've got hobbies, right? Drawing, needlepoint, the things people say don't matter but do. Garrett chuckles. You know, I don't share, not because it's embarrassing. I do, Sam grins. Back to focus. He wasn't in it for the money. Now who does that remind me of? Garrett tilts his head, amused. Bet that shirt on it. Where did you get that thing? The 70s? Never mind, probably did. Yeah, she smirks, adding another line of code. The money went to worthy charities. I picked up a few ideas from him. Nope, stop the conclusion jumping. She raises a finger. Not laundering money. Amanda sometimes lacks a full identity, so I moved funds from sketchy jobs into acceptable places. Anonymous donations. You don't need to explain, I get it. Do you feels wrong but right, Sam counters. If it's right to you, it is. Wrong answer. You're supposed to challenge me. Wrong answer. You're supposed to challenge me. Keep balance. Crap, tangents opening. Let it go. Remember the attempt on the Frisco grid last year? Yes, they feared a blackout like here. Was Briggs behind it? Had a hand in it. Sam moves like playing whack-a-mole, correcting things as she goes. Pictures clearing up. Multiple versions of Johnny Nash's I Can See Clearly Now float through her head. Not the time for a sing-along brain. Didn't escalate for several reasons, none of which I can explain even with all the time in the world. Nutshell version, Garrett prompts. The source of the burst was never identified in Seattle, the puzzle of the millennium. The Frisco attempt mimicked it well, using old-school tech, like taking 80s analog, multiplying it 1,000,000 times to match a single processor in a cell phone, praying nothing short-circuited, which it did. I think that line was a little bit, I kind of struggled with it a little bit, but I think it's okay. Like taking 80s analog, multiplying it 1,000,000 times to match a single processor in a cell phone, praying nothing short-circuited, which it did. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Oh my goodness. I love her. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Why this song? Focus. I cannot sing, which is fine because it kind of fits this whole mental jibber jabber that's going on in her head. Luckily, Garrett adds, wait, why this song? Okay, luckily, Garrett, I have to back up to what Garrett thought. Nutshell version, luckily, okay. Luck had nothing to do with it, Sam smiles. It only hit hardware-reliant tech, nothing a few batteries and over-the-air broadcasts couldn't fix. I can see all obstacles in my way. Oh my God, she's still singing. Oh my God, in her head. It's so cute. She's so cute. Really? Focus. Enough with the mental karaoke, Sam. The written word, the ability to read newspapers, problem solved by the printing press, Garrett says. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. I'm hearing you. Garrett, but a song? Committee that's not an invitation to comment. Oh, so now she's talking to the other party in her head. But are they in her head or in the crystal? But she's hearing them in her head through the crystal. Still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to get that clear in my mind. The explosives drew you to the buyers, leading to the cells, then the targets, and finally the masterminds. Garrett nods. Her brain continues. It's going to be a bright, sunshiny day. Seriously? Bright, cheery, stuck on repeat karaoke session. You don't have to blow up to black out a city. It just draws attention. Garrett's brow furrows. Something triggered? Yeah, not your fault. You know when a song invades the brain space. Dare I ask, good or bad? Doesn't matter, but this one's good, Sam laughs. Anyway, the real danger's the ones who don't take credit. He forced a trail. You got it. Sam keeps typing, but the song won't quit. Oh, hang on. I don't think you want formatting on that. All the bad feelings have disappeared. Even someone as inept, while not, as Steiner, could follow. Briggs stayed ahead of the feds for years, did what was asked. No more, no less. Garrett stutters out, unsure. Did you just offer... Here's the rainbow I've been praying for. Oh, seriously. When they checked his credentials, he always came back dirtier than dirt. All real ties cut, only innuendo and assumption left. Two things you're excellent at cutting through, Garrett says, refilling his glass. Look all around. There's nothing but blue skies. Sam's fingers pause, forcing focus as she pushes the melody aside. This made him a prime candidate to uncover you two, Garrett concludes. Usually I'd mock you for jumping to conclusion, but give the man a cookie, Sam snickers. Why, you two have been on him like white on rice since the beginning. Okay. I think because I'm seeing why, it's making me think is it supposed to be a question and is something missing? Is something missing? And I'm also wondering it because Grammarly is making a suggestion. So I'm kind of like confused partly by their suggestion. Why is there need to be a comment? Okay. Why you two have been on him like white on rice since the beginning. Okay, something is, I'm not sure. Something I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what to say because something's not working. It's either reading incomplete. I feel like it's supposed to say, that's why you two have been on him like white on rice since the beginning. Maybe it's missing a that. And then if I'm not sure. Why you two have been. Okay. I'm just going to say, I don't know, but something is amiss with this sentence. And I have no excuse except that I am not, I'm confused partly by the words put together and then Grammarly's little alert. And then I was looking for a question mark because I thought it was a question because it started with Y. So there's just a number of things not working for me with that one. So I'm going to move on. White on rice. That's a stretch, but okay. Not that closely associated, she replies, her smile hinting at amusement despite the awkward analogy. He's burned a few of our aliases over the years. Most were our call, but a few, those stung. But this... Garrett's expression tightens as he leans in. Different, I got that. Can you tell me how? How? That's a library of answers. Simplify for Garrett. Way beyond his usual expertise, he's working with info that can't come from anywhere but one source. If it's even possible, more of a theory. Trust ring. Garrett wouldn't know about that. Amanda might have told him. Oh, blue skies and rainbows. Shut up, song. Great, now I'm arguing with music. Expound, Garrett prompts. Sam rolls her eyes. That wasn't for you. Outward expression of inner crazy. Ignore it. Okay, pause. We've got italics on dialogues. Let's suggest that off. Okay, now let's try it again. Sam rolls her eyes. That wasn't for you. Outward expression of inner crazy. Ignore it. I can't expound. Not that I don't want to, I just don't know how they'd get their hands on it, if it even exists. Or maybe it's just a pattern we haven't disproved. Why did I start down this rabbit hole? It? A DNA signature or a fragment of one that current tech can't even detect. Like how we can see atoms but theorize smaller stuff, quarks, protons, forces like electromagnetism. Way over my head. Bring it back down to earth? He chuckles, a warm sound, his eyes sparkling with amusement. Over his head as usual, but it was fun to watch his face. Wish I could. This, they, you mentioned? I mentioned a they. Oops, play it off. She feigns ignorance, hoping he'll gloss over it. Yes, how they'd get their hands on it. Okay, so that would be a question, right? There we go. You're reading too much into my word choice. They, as in anyone other than Amanda or me, could be one person, a group, entropy messing with data streams, but unlikely given the occurrences you've documented. That's why Amanda's gone dark, and maybe we're just overreacting. Gods, please let it be nothing. You two don't overreact, Garrett says, crossing his arms. You'd be surprised. Possibly, we still don't know who was hunting Amanda before her memory loss, before she became the Amanda we know. Sam fidgets with her shirt, tracing the hem. We both know she's running from more than an ex-husband and a bad father. So we scrubbed her dead identity into the alive, reborn version, medical records encrypted everything, put out feelers for the smallest hint of someone searching. There's something unique in all of us, our behaviors, choices, perceptions. It's all chemistry, and when you're dealing with chemistry, energy transfer is quantifiable. Her voice tightens. That extra layer beyond her DNA signature raised the red flags. We can't leave her out there alone. She's exposed. I'm guessing nervous or scared since you're not physically injured, Garrett observes, cutting through her facade. Bet your ass I'm scared. This, she gestures to the scrolling text, is not good. I've got a storm of things bearing down on me. Brains in mid-meltdown, processing too much at once. And what you gave me this morning and... Add what you gave me this morning and... Don't explode. Don't. If I'd known... Garrett shifts, the light catching his jawline, a flicker of guilt crossing his face. You'd have done the same. Sam concedes as her thoughts begin to settle. He's not wrong. I shouldn't be jumping on you. I've got all the encyclopedias. You're working with summaries. I set the parameters for this search and gave them to you because of your classified access. I just didn't see them tight enough. Gods, how'd I miss that? You might have tightened them too much, Garrett remarks, tilting his head, brushing his fingers along his ear. Good point. Sam taps her lips, mimicking thought. Did you send this to Amanda? Some of the preliminary data linked to something else. Explains the lockdown. Sam's voice drops. I need to get back to her. You know, I'm the only one she'll let in. Wow, this terrifies me. She's got to be paralyzed with fear. And if she's cornered, there's no telling what she'll do. I can't let her spiral alone. Already in the works, Garrett states, his voice brimming with confidence. I know, and for everyone watching, there has to be legit reasoning. Bringing a team, though, makes for a thorough cover, he says, his tone unwavering. Yeah, sure, thorough cover. You made the connection between Bryant and Riley and then to Briggs in seconds. That took years to cultivate. Sam shrugs. Sorry. That's why you need to tell me these things, so I don't expose them. You know, like I almost did. You didn't expose them, Garrett clarifies, eyes narrowing. That was part of the point. It's still intact after you took your Sam shotgun to it. You used me to test it. Yeah, who better? Garrett takes a breath as Sam quiets her into her thoughts. Bryant's deep cover homeland, embedded with local ears on the ground. I didn't tell you because if you pieced it together, that meant there was a hole to patch. I'm Garrett's personal fixer. Lovely. Why am I not bothered by that? Side note, what about Riley? Kid's good, but maybe in over his head. Exactly like you told Scott, a young man who could go either way, all dependent on how he uses his skills. Briggs, Sam leans forward. I think you already know Bryant got most of this intel through him. Bryant was handed a scapegoat, wrong answers that felt right. Told so convincingly, even a polygraph or mob interrogation couldn't crack it. Gotta admit, that was smooth. Suave in execution. A smooth criminal. Sam, don't crap! Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal starts playing in her mind's ear. Okay, so this is correct and how I would do it. But I don't... It's a style thing. And then we have italices on our internal thoughts. So now I'm like, I'm going to leave it. What my mind is catching on is that this is the italices, but it's not an internal thought. I guess it's kind of telling, really. Okay. Gotta admit that was smooth. Suave in execution. A smooth criminal. Sam, don't crap. Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal starts playing in her mind's ear. You know me. If you're going to do that, at least play a good version. Like from Glee with the cellos. I'm tangenting. Focus, Sam, on what Garrett just said. She takes a breath. And the agents I'm to access and bring along with Scott? Yeah, I'm going to leave it. We're going to keep going. Scott asked for help in assessing agents beyond what's on paper. A few bad apples slipped through, tarnishing his rep. And you complied. Yeah, I've seen the roster, got some ideas, but I'd love your take. I'm sure you would, Sam cuts in, fingers drumming on a desk. Here we go, because you asked for it. Careful what you wish for. Chavez is the only one I'd give a full thumbs up. Why? He's exposed on the cartel DEA front what they're grooming him for, but it's a disaster waiting to happen. He'll burn out in a year. She smiles, thinking of Chavez. Poor guy, he has no clue what's coming. He's fluent in Spanish, adjusts dialects like flipping a switch, and they'll stick him in the front for undercover work. He dumbs down his IQ, manipulates tests to look less brilliant. His biochem knowledge rivals Ivy League grads, though he never formally studied it. Honestly, the guy impresses me. That's high praise from you. Garrett's silver hair catches the light as he jots down notes. Oh, now you're seeing it. Was there another reason you sent me here? Add in what he learned from his aunt, a premier botanist and horticulturist without formal education, and yeah, it is. His aunt? It's not in the file. It's that kind of stuff I was sent here to get. You know, personal details. Gotcha. On par with Amanda? Amanda. Let's not go there. I can't even measure Amanda's level when it comes to botany. Chavez also has a knack for cultural linguistics. Give him a few hours with the language, and he'll master it. He's got a strong sense of justice, especially for whistleblowers. The underdog's his driving force. If it weren't for his other skills, I'd recommend him to the marshals and witness protection. But protecting some of the Goliaths would break him? Yeah, especially after what happened to his brothers. And him. He's a survivor and hates people who take advantage of others. Garrett winks, which is exactly what they plan to do. I've got an opening in fraud and organized crime if he could work under Steiner. Steiner? You've got to be kidding. While I wouldn't wish the ASAC on my worst enemy, he is effective. Together they could make headway against Lassiter. We're on the same page. What about the other two? You want to pry it out of me, huh? Fine. Are you forcing my hand? Garrett downs the last of his drink and pours another. Let's say I am. Aha, there it is. You're making me assess them. So not fair. But I knew that's why you sent for me. Why you sent me. So not fair, but I knew that's why you sent me. For a team that'll gel and cover their weaknesses, Collins is a possibility. Sharpshooter, martial artist, it's in his file. What isn't is that he's a master at pressure points, leverage, and weight distribution and all that comes with it, which is a lot. Math in motion. He can't solve it on paper, but can in practice. Until his ego takes a hit. Garrett nods, sipping his drink. Okay. And? Sam takes a breath and continues. Andrews, strong book smarts in psychology, could case study her way through, but until she faces someone with real intent to kill, she'll stick to textbook assessments, right? 75 to 80% of the time. Not everyone starts with real-world experience, Garrett reasons, pencil in hand, sketching more cryptic lines. Sigh much. I'm aware. It's her approach that's the issue. How so? Garrett prompts. It's like test taking. Trust your gut, don't overthink. Andrews does the opposite. She gets the right instinct, then buries it under textbooks. She'll research everything to back it up, but she's too insecure to trust it when it doesn't fit the mold. Garrett smirks. Needs help thinking outside the box? Or the circle, triangle. Sam chuckles. Let's be real, she's stuck in a damn rhombus. She'd crumble against an alpha in interrogation. They'll tear her apart, exploit her vulnerability. But if she learns to trust that gut instinct, she'd shred them efficiently. Judge, jury, executioner. By their own making. Sounds like sitting opposite you in an interrogation. Garrett grins, flipping the notebook page. Ouch. Mean? Sam jabs, narrowing her eyes in mock defense. Yeah, fine, I'm ruthless, but the only one who can call that funky is me. Been there, speak from experience. He turns his pencil end over end and taps it on his notebook. Oh, you're trying to deflect. Nice try, Garrett. I know what you're doing. Sam crosses her arms, defiant. I know you know, and that's why you let it happen. Riley, Chavez, Collins, and Andrews assumed as much. You and your assumptions. No, you didn't, she defends. Did. Check the timestamps on their assignments. Those can be altered, especially by someone like you. Could, but didn't. You've got a thing for giving second chances, seeing beyond the surface. These four failed their initial background checks for the reasons you just pointed out. Sam rolls her eyes, feeling the weight of his words. Great. We're in the I told you so phase. Background checks aren't the full picture, skewed by whoever's doing the assessing. Uh-huh, he smirks. Scott felt that good candidates weren't considered while others worked the system with money, parental influence, or whatever. Ouch, don't just a child. Does this supposed to be judge a child? Oops, if I can type. Judge a child? Okay, there you go. And I'm getting that out of context. Ouch, don't judge a child by their parents unless it's good. Yeah, I get it. You sent me to assess the assessment system. Yes, couldn't be done. If I knew, she laughs. Got me there. Nice play. Thank you, he grins. You know it won't happen again. Maybe, but I played that card when it counted. You do know. I didn't pass the background check because of my parents, you, Amanda, Steiner, the avalanche, blackout, pandemic, too many of those black marks. I want to say it's not fair. It's not. I didn't do it to hurt or use you. I know, but it still feels like cheating the system. I can make a million excuses. But I requested you go there on a job. Any wrongdoing is on me, not you. We good? Mind space is quiet. Sam laughs. For the moment. Not fair, Garrett chuckles. It is what it is. So do you want to know what I found? He hesitates and Sam reads his concern. Do I? Oh, being that overprotective. Uncle-like figure. Okay, hang on. So it wants to put overprotective together as one word. I don't have a problem with that. Let's see. Let me try reading it again. Oh, being that overprotective uncle-like figure. I'll break you of that. Wait, probably a bad idea. You wouldn't have sent it to me if you didn't, right? True, but after what you told me, I don't want to add more stress. He cares. A warmth spreads through her. It'll be good to get it out. Garrett tops off his drink and raises a palm. Of course, drink topped off, and I get to do all the talking. You're a master of giving little and expecting more. I know this game. You don't have to if it's multitasking through this conversation and my brain's 1,000 miles ahead. Add Amanda to that mix. Sorry, just leaving myself some notes. So what you've got here is similar to what we picked up around Landing View during the blackout, the near pandemic, you name it. She taps a few keys and sends him a file. It's like encryption, but based on thought. Sure, why not? Let's add thought-based encryption to the absurdities list. Okay, Garrett mutters, opening the file as the light on his face shifts. It's like what we use, key card, biometric, retinal fingerprint DNA, and a password or some specific sequence. Okay, so I messed up on that because of the two S sounds, but there's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't change anything. I think it'll be fine when you're reading it to yourself. I'm with you, he nods, scanning the data. Barely keeping up myself. Then it's broadcast over open airway. Okay, we got OO, and it's going to read fine silently. I'm just tripping over it because they have similar sounds. So I'm over and open. We're going to try it again. Barely keeping up myself. Then it's broadcast over open airwaves, riding with other transmissions, usually phone calls. You need junctions to break it down bit by bit. Some of it popped up during the blackout. But no source or receiver identified. She types, focused. Exactly. Proof showed up then vanished. I didn't set the perimeters wide enough. But if I lower the threshold, it's the same encryption Briggs recently used. Only he didn't have access to the what you have part. How can you be sure? Because it was on me or Amanda. More like something I picked up in the plane wreckage, discarded like garbage. Only thing besides us that came off that mountain. Great. World-ending events linked to busted up radios and trash. Lovely. You think he found something from the crash site? After all these years? Garrett's brow furrowed. Furrows? Furrowed? Furrows? Furrowed? Uh-oh. I want to think it's supposed to be furrowed. Because we're in past tense, right? Right? I'm not going there. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. You can look at that part. Let's see. Sam shrugs. Don't know, but the wreckage existed. You know that. She smiles, knowing they've had this conversation countless times. Same script, different day. The encryption tripped your radar because it contains the what we are, Amanda's unedited DNA. I get why you'd think she was involved. It wasn't her. It's searching for a match. There's a male connector out there looking for the female version. Garrett pinches the bridge of his nose. That's happening? Sam holds up a finger. Ish. It started with an hour of Briggs' death. Okay, we're going to start that over. Sam holds up a finger. Ish. It started within an hour of Briggs' death. And not to freak you out more, her fingers freeze over the keyboard. Oh, hell. You can't just drop that and stop. Garrett prods, leaning forward, concern increasing his face. One too many doodads right here. Just one too many. Pick one or two actions. Oops, if I can spell actions. And omit one. Okay, just for balance. We don't want to have too much. Let's see. You can't just drop that and stop, Garrett prods. So you could just say Garrett prods and that's enough. I'm verifying. Hold on. She works the keys with speed. Yep, as I suspected, our mail connector has been contacting another source testing for a match, which means someone has not only something from the crash site, but also Amanda's DNA. Well, that's just peachy. Tension grips her chest. I'll give you 2 guesses who has those items. Second one doesn't count. Lassiter. You get the whole cookie jar. That's not so friendly pharma geniuses who swindled Uncle Sam for billions during the pandemic. They grabbed both our DNA back then and have been studying it ever since. They don't want anyone knowing they kept more. Garrett glances at his notes. Amanda's DNA and something else. Yeah, I'll need to dig into Phoenix, the hard copies, maybe hack their systems, figure out what they stole. Why not? Just add another hacking mission to the list. Okay, this is a little bit, sentence a little bit long. You can fix that though. We'll keep going. Doubtful. Indirectly, maybe. I missed something? Clearly. Lassiter's always known where Amanda and I were. They've wanted me on the dissection table for years. They backed off Amanda, just saw her as a lucky survivor. That's why Steiner's always watching us. Are you? Garrett starts, but Sam shoots him a look. Are you listening? I kind of want him to repeat that again. Be like, are you listening? Either way, we're going to keep going. If Lassiter has both pieces, they wouldn't be using one to find the other. No, this party's specifically hunting Amanda, her, in the flesh. They know Lassiter's got crash remnants, and they're using them to track her. This is bad. No, worse than bad. Don't spiral, Sam, not yet. I have to agree, Garrett sips his drink. He's like chill about this. He's just, he's been nursing this drink, made him another one, and he's just chill. My bunny's throwing a fit in the hallway again. If you heard that noise, that's her thumping. Okay, I have to agree, Garrett sips his drink. Steiner already requested access to Phoenix, and to you. Me, Sam blurts, shaking her head. Oh, never mind. Makes sense. Can't bring anyone new in. I was in the middle of it, and my memory will sift through it faster. But what sparked his assholeness interest? Garrett stifles a laugh. Garrett stifles a laugh. Briggs asked about something within its contents. Steiner assumes it's harmless but can't shake the timing. Him requesting access and dying soon after. He's worried about stirring up old conspiracies by claiming jurisdiction if his suspicions don't pan out. Yeah, last thing we need is Steiner waking the skeletons. They've been rattling enough lately. Don't blame him there. Don't blame him there. Don't blame him there. I can't believe I said that out loud. Welcome to my inner voice that sometimes escapes. It's okay, Sam. I know you see far more about people than can be verbalized. Even though on the surface you hate him, there's another side that's useful to you. But you do it too. You use the MAV protocol, so I know you've covered your bases. We got an extra space in there. Amanda's off-grid, so she's safe. I'm checking. Are you okay? Because we know what it means if he's... You all right with... Garrett's tone softens. I know Otis is special to you. Otis, huh? You think he's just the laptop? Otis is more. A lot more. Wait, why am I parsing pronouns for an object? Sam runs her hand over the laptop, a smile tugging at her lips. It's just a possession, Garrett. People matter more. I'll see that it's destroyed quietly. No fuss. But have any open channels picked up on this? You and Amanda would know better than anyone, like you always said. Looking too hard often draws more attention than it's worth. I haven't beyond coming to you. Exactly why we kept quiet, even knowing Lassiter's got part of it. Let's not make waves until I talk to Amanda. Because why keep it simple when we can complicate the hell out of everything? By the way, could you do me a favor? Security around her? A surge of protectiveness rises in Sam. Okay, I'm wondering if this is Rose in Sam rises. Okay, I do not want to go down the tense rabbit hole where I'm suddenly like, okay, are we half past tense, half presence? Is there just a few words here and there and worry about it? I'm just going to put unsure of tense. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to be, I'm not doing it because I'll go down that rabbit hole and then I'll start picking apart every single thing I read and start second guessing myself. So I'm going to stop myself because I've done it before and I'm going to not do that. I'm just going to note it and I'm going to move on. And then back here, it's alert. I kind of slowed down a little bit. I lost my rhythm. it's flagging this, and my brain was half considering why and what I think about it, but it didn't bother me, so I'm just going to keep going. All right, where are we? Okay, we're here because I got stuck on that. A surge of protectiveness rises in Sam. Yeah, quietly, so she doesn't freak out. She might be in isolation, but that doesn't mean her alarms are down. Watch incoming traffic, new arrivals at the ports. I'm sure you've got some terrorists who could trip the alert and give you the extra superpowers of authority. Go back 5 or 6 weeks before Briggs pings Steiner, and don't make it the explosion your starting point. Garrett chuckles, a smirk playing at his lips. I'm not new to this. Okay, Mr. Expert, I get it. Sorry, I know you know how to do your job. Just get me back there, okay? On it. And make it look like it's not my choice. If they reached Amanda this way, they'll know my connection to her and you. It'll set off all kind of ugly alarms. Again, this isn't new. I've been protecting you your whole life. Garrett's voice is warm, reassuring. Yeah, Garrett, lifelong protection. Not that it keeps the chaos at bay. It's probably helped, but let's not dwell on that now. I've got a missing person case that could serve as your cover. I was planning on putting your team on it anyway. I don't care what you throw me on. Wait, my team? Not officially. That's why Scott's coming with you. The case has enough pieces for everyone. It's late there. You should get some rest. See you soon? Yeah. Night, Garrett. Please be careful. The weight of the situation presses down as she disconnects. Great. Just great. Okay. So I'm gathering Amanda's missing and she's in trouble and there's bad guys looking for her. And honestly, this chapter read pretty solid. I mean, it read pretty solid. I like what you've done with the internal thoughts and tied them with some really nice actions. I would screen your actions for repetition, and a quick, easy way to do it is, let's see, I would probably look for that sipping of the drink. And I think it'll work. Look for the word sip, maybe. Just do a search for sip and just see how many times it comes up to see if you're comfortable with that and that it's balanced. Okay. And I do like the action of him continuing to drink because, they're having a conversation. So it fits, if you're sipping on a drink while you talk, it gives you an action. So I think it worked nicely. But I would probably do a search and check it just for balance. But other than that, this read really well, honestly. I mean, I like your choice of actions. I noticed while I was reading some of them, I was like, oh, that's pretty unique, in my opinion. There was something in here that I liked. Let's see. There was a couple of them where I thought the actions you gave them were nice. Let's see. I like that she's looking for stuff and she's sending him a file. I mean, so you utilized the resources in the room very well. That's basically what I'm going for is like, given that they're sitting, basically they're both having a conversation. You utilized what you had to work with very well. That's my point. I liked it. The actions that you input there and your internal thoughts. And you were doing a really, really great job there. Toward the end, you picked it up thicker in through here a little bit, like all through here. There was a little thin spot in there, and I thought, it's okay because overall I think it's this little section right here, and I think it's still okay. I think it was that one. Oh, no, it was up here. This is the one. See, it was a little long stretch up here. My little highlighter dude does not want to do his part. This little bit right here was a little stretch that was getting a little thin and I was worried. I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't stop, but you picked it back up and finished strong. And it's like 3/4 of the way through. It was not too thin, but I was starting to worry because it went, like, if it was just a couple of lines, I feel like that's okay. But like when it goes on for a good bit, I start to worry. So this one worried me just a little bit, but I think it was overall okay. If you wanted to do anything else to this chapter, I would probably look at this little thin segment. You can scroll down. It is I don't know. Does it tell me what page I'm on? Let's see. I don't think so. I don't think we've got like page numbers on or anything. Okay, so you could search for "Thank You, He Grins," and kind of finish at "You Don't Have to" if you wanted to look at anything that needed a little more flesh. Okay, but generally speaking, you did a really good job. You've done a lot of work on here, a lot. I can tell because you were telling me what all you had done, and I'm like, no, it's really showing, and it is working for you. It's definitely helping. So good, 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 good. I didn't have too much to add for this one, so that's probably good too. There's so much happening in your chapters. Like you literally are answering the questions from the last chapter and then bringing up new questions and progression, and I can see them building a team. So lots happening as usual. Lots of things to come. So this was a good one for you. All right. I am off to do another read because my kids are on fall break and I am trying to get as many done because we're going my Girl Scout troop is going camping. It's going to be about 18 people, about 8 kids and 11 adults, I think 7, 10. Anyway, I'm not going to do the math on that. There's some adults, a little more than what I usually get in activity. So we have been preparing, and I'm like the co-leader. So I've been collecting all the goods and getting all the plans written out and communicated to everyone. So in between that, doing all the normal life things. So anyway, I'm going to stop my rambling and I'm going to stop here and I'm going to try to get one more read in today so that I can get these uploaded before I leave town. So thank you for trusting me with your words, and I will see you guys next time on Mystery Ride Reads.